Rick Horrow, Facebook Live, Reuters. Again, every couple weeks, mega events across the global landscape. Really can't get any bigger than this if you're a North American soccer fan. MLS started 20 years ago after the 94 World Cup. 10 teams, 24 teams by 2020, 4 more teams after that. The franchise value over $100 million. Don Garber, who we'll interview in about 30 minutes, 25 minutes, says that there are maybe 79, 80 million avid soccer fans. The average age is 35. We'll let him tell it. The bottom line is the MLS has a very interesting story. The men aren't going to the Olympics. The women are. There are a whole bunch of advantages. Soccer finished the Euro Cup, finished Copa America. This is an amazing time. But we're here in the middle of the Avaya Stadium for the All-Star game, the MLS All-Star game. And Dave Cavill.
Yes, thanks
Thank
for
you very
having
much.
me. It's great to be here.
I butchered the guy's name 45 times before we really started. Dave, the president of the Quakes?
Yes, absolutely.
And also the mastermind or the master implementer of this grand project here. Talk a little bit about this building.
Well, this has been transformative for the San Jose Earthquakes to have our own home.
Yeah.
We, for 40 years, were a professional soccer club, and we were a vagabond. We never had a home stadium.
Started in 74, right?
74, old NASL, great players, George Best, Johnny Moore, great history, but we never had our own home. Even back in 1996, when we had the first game in MLS history, here in San Jose at Spartan Stadium, we still didn't really have our own venue where we could control the fan experience and really showcase soccer in the way it's supposed to be played. And that's what we have here with Avaya Stadium. That's why we're so excited to host the world for the All-Star Week and just showcase what we've created here in San Jose.
And we're going to walk through and you're going to show me some of the stadium
absolutely.
as well. So $100 million of private funding later,
right.
basically, is a stadium, HOK, populist design, and it is a unique soccer stadium. We'll go through the specifics of it, but it works, and that's the bottom line. It works.
It does, and I think what we did is we look for the best elements of the great stadiums of the world. We went to the Bundesliga, we went to England, we saw the intimacy, the high rake of the seats, the fact that people wanted to be close to the action. We put all the actual premium inventory at the field level. We took some risks, but we actually created a great stadium and one that people have flocked to. We've sold out every game so far in our year-and-a-half history.
Our super-duper world guru executive producer, Paul Michael Ochoa, by the way, we call him Shaky. No, you better not, by the way. So one of the things of Facebook Live is it looks like we're having an earthquake. So far, we're steady.
Yeah.
But you're going to be evaluated at the end of this by how you walk backwards as we start this tour. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it. Rock and roll. Rock and roll.
So, how hard was it to get a ticket for the All-Star game?
Well, it sold out in 4 minutes, and we had our season ticket holders got priority. But even after that, there was a ton of secondary market interest in the game. We have people, I just talked to a couple fans traveling in from Connecticut, folks coming in from Dallas. Arsenal rarely comes to the United States, so this is a huge event for world soccer here in the Bay Area.
Yeah. And the economic impact, you may not have a number. What's your prediction?
I think it's what they say on the order of $15 to $20 million for an event like this, because it's not just the game, it's the actual week of festivities, it's all the different people coming in, it's all the ancillary things, people have great tourism, it's really a great thing.
All right, speaking of festivities, this is the world's longest bar, the solar system's longest bar?
This right here is the TCL 4K bar, the largest exterior bar in North America, over 300 linear square feet of bar space. We have the beautiful reclaimed redwood from Moffett Hanger, the Portuguese terrazzo stone, an amazing backdrop to watch soccer and experience the beautiful game.
That's great. And the beautiful game also includes beautiful alcohol. And I guess there's some rules relative to Reuters and everybody that I can't actually drink on television. So I'm just going to tell you, or Facebook or whoever on, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not going to do it now, but you owe me one. How's that?
You got it. Don't worry. I'll hook you up.
Deal. So, congregation point, we are about less, sorry. I'm not drinking, I swear. We are less than an hour before kickoff.
Yep, absolutely.
And the place is rocking, obviously.
Yeah, people get here early. That's one of the great things about this bar and this open side of the stadium is that people congregate and have an experience before the match.
Yeah,
we love it.
And is that a normal thing for how many home games?
We have 17 home matches that are MLS, and usually 1 or 2 bonus games. We played Manchester United last year, which was a huge event. Club America, of course, we have Arsenal against MLS All-Stars this year. it's really already been really the epicenter of soccer here in California.
Just for people who are late tuners in, because they're picking up millions, I'm sure, Dave Cabell, president of the Quakes, inspiration of Avaya Stadium, and this is Facebook Live. I'm Rick Horrow. The bottom line also of the economic impact, we talked about it for a second, is the Bay Area and what it means.
Yep.
You see the stadium behind us.
Yeah, it's a great view.
So
great view.
It's an incredible year for the Bay Area as well. You had Super Bowl 50.
We did.
It's that Giants even year, so here we go again.
Yeah, probably get the World Series.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Sharks went to Game 6 and nobody expected it.
Yep.
The Warriors, a little disappointing, but the bottom line is they got Kevin Durant and they're ready for a new arena in downtown.
Yep.
How do you all fit into that picture?
Well, I think what's happened in the Bay Area recently is that we've created a lot of new sports fans. And so while this area maybe 10 or 15 years ago wasn't considered a sports hotbed like Boston or New York, it's actually becoming one. And I think the Quakes are a key part of that. We are the global sport, soccer. Our community is the most diverse community in the country. It's a perfect marriage, and that's why we're having so much success.
And Dave, how do you define the community? Because I guess you should argue that you're from Sausalito all the way down Los Gatos and farther south, East Bay and beyond, so you cast a wide net.
We do. I mean, you look at our fan base, and we have people coming from Fairfield, Watsonville, San Mateo, San Francisco. So we really are Northern California's team, and the thing is there's millions of fans who love the Earthquakes.
Yeah. So let me tell you what's, for you millions of people out there who are now watching, let me tell you what's disappointing, is that we had a couple of people take pictures, stop and take pictures, and he thought it was for him, clearly, because that ego would be. I thought it was for me, but they're actually talking way past us on the field that's right behind us. That is disappointing. I hope it's going to change a little bit.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Okay. So let's go. What else do you want to show us?
Well, obviously this is the Open Epicenter side. This is where we have like our host location where Univision Deportes is broadcasting the game, which is very exciting. This is where we set up all our sponsor activations, everything like that. We're getting a live feed here. Mark Abbott, president of the league. We're on Facebook Live.
Here's what I want to tell you. This is to millions of people, and we didn't really want to have the lawyer here, but he just happened to walk up. This is Mark Abbott, who is a brain trust of Major League Soccer. He is Don Garber's right-hand guy. You would probably say that Don Garber's your right-hand guy?
I would not say that.
No, you would not say that. You would not say that.
Oh, definitely not.
I will say this. This guy is the most important guy in the MLS. I would not say that either, huh?
No,
all right.
not.
I have held the
Good
pay
to
on that.
see you.
Thank you, my friend. All right, I'll see you.
Where's the reception?
Right that way, Mark. Yes.
So that's the bottom line. So Mark Abbott, the first thing he's asking, right, is where's the reception?
Yes,
That's
he was
all
going to the
has say.
reception. We have a great reception.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
some of the other really exciting things we have at the stadium is we have an open concourse. So as you walk along the concourse, you can see into all the action on the pitch at any time. And so that makes it a very open stadium. The fans are connected to the action, and it's something that's very unique in professional soccer.
Tell us about the Avaya relationship. How do you get them to lend their name, and is it working out for both parties?
It's been tremendous because for us in Silicon Valley, we needed a technology partner who could actually make sure that this stadium was on the cutting edge and most state-of-the-art technology and fan experience. And what they've done is they put a high-density Wi-Fi system in here where we've built an app that can do everything from ticketing to wayfinding to concessions, and it's really top tier, and our fans are demanding that. And if we didn't have that, I think folks in Silicon Valley would think we couldn't live up to kind of what we promised. And so Avaya has been a great partner for that.
Well, I guess you could argue it's an interesting one-upsmanship for fan comfort.
You're right.
Levi's, amazing state-of-the-art facility.
True.
I'm sure Joe Lacob and the Warriors are looking very carefully about what Avaya is doing here.
Yep.
And so everybody building on everything else to the benefit of the fans, and that's what Silicon Valley, I guess, does for sports.
Yeah, and our stadium's really become a laboratory for a lot of new ideas, both with the app and other technologies we're trying to deploy here.
Give me a couple other examples.
Well, some of the other things we're trying to do is with the iBeaconing technology. So when you walk down the concourse, you can actually serve people different ads on our in-stadium video network. So we can go to sponsors and say, hey, people are going to walk by and they're going to get served a 7-Up ad or an Avaya ad or a Sutter Health ad based on their preferences and who they are. And that's something that's very unique and only that we're doing here at Avaya Stadium.
All right, let's go. Where else do you want to go?
Let's head down the concourse a little bit and see the action there.
All right. By the way, this is Arsenal against the MLS All-Stars. And you see the people in Arsenal jerseys. Maybe they feel empowered, but there were three guys who just walk right through you.
I saw it. We got to look alive. We got to look alive.
You want to check out, see how close you are to the field?
This is our terrace area, which is really exciting, and we have grass in this area, which is nice.
Our first major production mistake by our almost executive producer, Paul Michael Ochoa.
Yeah, he's really good walking
He's
backwards.
doing really good.
He's doing really well. So yeah, the other thing you see here is just how close you are to the action. You know, our stadium is so intimate in terms of its construction and design. All the premium inventory was built at the field level. Okay. All the clubs, all the suites. It's basically like having court seats in the NBA, right on the action. And for fans, especially people who are just getting into soccer, they'll come and sit there and they'll realize these players are unbelievably athletic. They're quick, they're fast. Yeah, it's amazing.
Paul Michael, look, pan out here so you see how close this is.
And then we have the dual level video boards, you know, the fascia above and below, the video board above the scoreboard bar, which is incredible. The other thing we have is the 3 different shades of blue with the seats. We went with the mosaic seat pattern in the seats, which is very, very nice. And actually, we did a really Silicon Valley thing. We embedded a code in the seats. And held so it was a code, secret code, and we held a contest for 6 months, and we let the public come to see if they could break the code. And the code ended up being broken by a kid, 21 years old, San Jose State. Him and his father came to the stadium, and he realized that we had spelled out in red seats in binary script, "Go EQ!" exclamation point. And he won that, and we gave him 2 tickets to the next World Cup. So that was a great little Easter egg we threw into the stadium.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Only in Silicon Valley would that kind of thing happen. That's brilliant.
It was fun. It was really a good promotion.
And by the way, I do really appreciate that. In anticipation of a future JetBlue sponsorship, you colored the seats.
They're all blue. It's very true.
So JetBlue, if you're listening, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
All right, back in the concourse, right?
Back in the concourse. Oh. Wow. Well, look at this.
That's a pretty sophisticated
He's a contortionist. Contortionist. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, he dropped his glasses. Now he's shaking. All right, so we got him going.
We're going to make it through. We're going to make it through. Yeah, the other thing that we did is that we had a very steep rake of the seats. So it's a 34-degree rake, which is more similar to an actual arena than an outdoor stadium. So that means when you're in the last row, the 28th row, you still have an amazing view of the action. There's really not a bad seat in the house.
Right.
So that's something that people love about our stadium.
Total seating capacity?
18,000 is our seating capacity. And like I said, we sold out all our regular season games, and it's been a huge success.
Concerts, other events?
Right now we don't have a concert permit, but we're working with the city to get one. We've been doing a lot of rugby events, which have been super popular. We've been doing like high school soccer, for instance, which is really popular in the Bay Area.
Right.
And so we try to do as many events as possible. We even do we're having the Light the Night Walk, Leukemia Lymphoma Society, doing a fundraiser, so a wide variety of different things.
The advantage of this being a interesting, high-tech, outdoor 18,000 seat venue in the middle of the peninsula, I would just say hopefully you get a permit, get some concerts in, right?
We want to, because I think it's going to be a great addition to the entertainment scene here in the Bay Area, no doubt.
We talked about it earlier in another context. Do you work actively with Sharks, the Warriors, the Raiders, the Niners?
We have a close relationship with all the pro sports teams. I mean, one thing I will say is that soccer fans tend to be their own fan. So they don't overlap necessarily as much with the other professional sports teams. So a lot of times they're just soccer fans.
Right.
And so we need to do whatever we can to make sure we reach them, connect to them in an authentic way, and make sure they have a great experience.
And your demographics, are your demographics mirroring the league demographics? I mean, they'll be...
You know, we're a little more family here, to be honest with you. Like, we still have a lot of millennials, younger fans, but we're probably 40-45% soccer families, which is big in the Bay Area. Yeah. So that's kind of the way it's worked out to date. And, you know, we've had fans, we have 41-year history, so it's worked out really, really well.
And what do you do to, and I'm going to ask Don this from the league level, but what do you do to inspire the next generation of soccer fans? Soccer academies?
We do. We have an academy all the way down to 12 years old. And so we have kids all over the Bay Area. I mean, a kid like Wando, our star player, got started in an academy here in the Bay Area. So we have young players. David Bingham, also in the game, Bay Area player. And so this area has great talent. What we've really been lacking always is infrastructure. We now have a Vias Stadium. We're building a $40 million academy complex that will be done in 2 years, which will further cement our place at the forefront of development.
Where's that? Where's the stadium?
It's going to be about 3/4 of a mile from here, right by the airport. So it's going to be a great location. So we're really happy about that.
Awesome. What else do you want to show us stadium-wise?
Well, this is kind of an interesting area where the fans kind of bisect the actual players, and so they just walk across the concourse, so you can get super close to all the action of the fans and the players, and it's really a unique aspect of Avaya Stadium.
While we're looking at that, what other kind of design uniqueness HOK Populous comes to you and says, we're going to build a soccer stadium, we know how to do it generically? How did you Quakeize it?
Well, we have one concourse. Okay. Most of the time you have multiple concourses. One concourse actually, especially if it's an open concourse, keeps it more open, lowers your cost, and really keeps it very simple and elegant. The other thing is we use this material, as you can actually see it right now, the SPS. Yeah. So instead of precast concrete, which is a lot more expensive, we use the material called sandwich plate system, which is kind of like the deck of a ship. And it's very rigid. It means you don't need as deep a foundation. You save a bunch of money, but it's solid as a rock. And so that's another great way to use building techniques, design elements to create really a more efficient stadium. That's one thing we wanted to do. We didn't want to spend just to spend. We wanted to spend in areas where people cared, like the wood and the Portuguese stone and the things that people care about.
Right. Weather-related, hot, really hot this summer here, but variable too, right?
Yeah, but variable. And it cools at night. So this game's in the afternoon, but most games are at night. By then it's 70 degrees, perfect weather. People love being here in the stadium. It's just an absolutely perfect environment.
Did you look at other sites in San Jose? Was this the natural, logical place?
The only other one we looked at was downtown next to the Shark Tank.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about this one is that it's really a very nice location near the airport. We have transit, Caltrain, all these different things. So it's really good.
Perfect. Should we
let's get across. Let's move our way across. We're going to make it happen here. This is going to test our man to the limit. Yeah. But I know we can do it. He's
walking backwards into a crowd. Oh
my gosh, can he do it?
Ladies and gentlemen,
let's keep going.
Very important person walking backwards. Important person walking backwards. Clear away.
So this is where the team walks by. This is kind of the area that crisscrosses. So it's pretty cool. Hey guys, how we doing? Yeah. And this is one of our team stores. We have 3 team stores on the concourse. You can see kind of back behind me, that's where the team comes out, which is really neat.
Yeah, get some perspective of that.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing.
That's
and
really
you get so close to the action. That's very unusual to have that in any stadium. So really amazing. And when people come here and see it, they just really appreciate it.
We don't have to decide right now.
Sir, aren't you the...
We're going to meet you in there.
108, I'll see you.
You're the commissioner of the major... There you go. All right. He's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So that's good.
The soccer don's in the building. So.
Just to give you some perspective on that, locker room facilities, administrative facilities.
Absolutely. So the first floor is all our team facilities, visitors and home locker room, training, gym. Second floor, executive offices, all in one place. We have our training pitch just stone's throw away here. So we have everything in one location. Works out great.
How long did it take to build?
About 18 months to build the entire stadium. So
I normally ask this of all the people we deal with. If you had to do one thing over, what would it be? Is there anything that you're?
I think actually in hindsight it would be better to have a little more premium inventory because we've been so popular. We have about 1,000 premium seats, but I think we could support more, and we may look at doing some things in the stadium, like in the corners, to support that. Are
you flexible enough to be able to convert?
Yes.
Things?
We are, and the one thing we did is we tried to make it so we had a blank slate and we could attack different areas and change them over time to keep the stadium fresh.
Yeah, excellent.
Cool. And this is the beautiful redwood from Moffett Hangar.
Yeah.
That wood is 1,100 years old. The all reclaimed redwood. It's amazing. And that really softens kind of the steel look of the building, and really creates a very unique Northern California feel to what we have here.
Do we have a weather warranty from the contractors on that?
Well, I will say it does need to be refinished quite often, especially if it's in the sun, as you can imagine. So,
Dave Cavell, as in Gavel, president of the Quakes. Those are all his fans. You think they're waiting for the players? They're actually waiting for Dave. How long have you been here?
6 years with the Quakes.
And took it from 2010. Was Avaya committed? Was the stadium already committed?
No. All right. No. So it was getting the financing, committing on the site, making sure we had all the approvals from the city, the PD permit, the zoning. So it was a long process to go through all those steps, and it was challenging. We had times where we had setbacks. We had a neighborhood group that opposed the stadium because of noise issues, even though we're next to an airport and a train track. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, I know.
But we managed to get through all those things and really develop a beautiful stadium for this community.
And here's a leap of faith on Major League Soccer. So you start, this is a great nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
But stadium wasn't finished yet. The issue of where the MLS is going to be, you had to be a firm believer in the MLS in order to take that commitment 6 years ago.
100%. And to privately finance a $100 million stadium at a time where most of the venues had been publicly financed to that date, it really made quite a statement, not even just here, but across the league. That the league was here to stay, that people knew they were going to make these types of long-term investments, and it's a real credit to Don Garber, his team, and the other ownership groups in the league.
That's an amazing segue, and I'm thirsty, so let's go into Don's box.
Let's do it.
And
Awesome.
have you be handed off officially.
I will.
Are you taking a picture of us? Sure. Because the last time somebody tried to take a picture, it was people behind us, and we got really upset. Are you taking of us? Here,
We appreciate that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appearance fee. We got an appearance fee. All right. Hang on a sec. How are we going to do this? This will be interesting. Should we go first and you follow us? What do you want to do? Executive producer. You going to walk backwards?
Wow, this guy's amazing.
I'll tell you
I've never
what.
seen anything like it. Thank you.
Mr. Ochoa is with the MLS, and he has perfected his skills of walking backwards through crowds. I'm not quite sure how relevant that skill is, but we've got that skill. So
I think Don is in 108A or B. I don't know.
I think we're right in here. So let's check it out. Thank
Or
you.
is he in? Is it? I thought he's in this one, B, right?
Yes.
I think he's in B.
Yeah.
They told me B.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm wrong.
Hey guys.
I've been wrong before. Thank you.
All right, I think we're coming in. We're coming in hot.
Opening the door
Coming in
behind.
hot. Is he down there, maybe?
Let's check out. Isn't that interesting? Now, we saw him, so we're going to find him.
We are going to find him.
Why don't we do this? This is a great television. Why don't you find him for a second, then come
Yes.
back and get me?
I will.
Because I'm actually going to say a couple of things here about the MLS.
Okay, I appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much for the time.
All right,
for being
man.
here.
All right.
Go Quakes.
I appreciate
Go San
that.
Jose. I'll go find Don.
Find Don pretty quickly, too. So, is he in here? You know what? If you can hear me here, this is fine. Good. Yeah, I thought he was in there.
Yeah.
But the thing that's really important about this stadium is that this is one of 15 new stadiums around Major League Soccer. Orlando, D.C., Minnesota, and a new stadium in Los Angeles are also opening up. And so that's going to be in the next 18 months. After those 18 months, it's going to be new facilities, but $3 billion are committed to this. And so the bottom line of all of it is that you have stadium development processes going on, you have fan bases that are growing. The other perspective on this is that the average attendance has been up. It's gone up 56% since 2001. Attendance has risen about 29% over the last 5 years. There are more people that have gone to Major League Soccer games than NHL and NBA. Now, these are bigger facilities to be sure, but just to give you a little bit of a test case, the New York City FC sold 15,000 season tickets before they even kicked the ball. 52% of the MLS fans are aged 18 to 34, the highest proportion of any pro sports franchise. Two teams, the Seattle Sounders at over 40,000, and Orlando City at over 35,000. It's their second year in the league. Are both averaging more than 30,000 fans per game. So the attendance is pretty significant, and the fans are pretty significant. When you look at the numbers, the MLS is built for today as well as 10 years from now. Copa America, the Premier League, mega games, and as we said before, a little worried about Russia, the 2018 World Cup. See what the commissioner actually says about that. And of course, 2022, the event in Qatar, at least today, has been tarnished by the bid process and by the challenges with Sepp Blatter and FIFA and otherwise. But again, we'll have to see how that all shakes out. When you take a look at values, 20 years ago in 1996, the league started with 10 teams. Atlanta, Minnesota, Los Angeles committed, and maybe Miami. That'll be 24 teams by 2020, and they're talking about 4 more teams by the end of 2025 or more, and 12 cities, a few in Texas, Oklahoma City, others around the country want MLS franchises. The average value, about $100 million. The deal today is you can have a minor league team in the USL for anywhere from $3 million to $20 million valuation as a step up. There are 22 national partners and 20 new owners since 2003. So we're not letting you off the hook. Dan Courtlamont is the PR director of Major League Soccer. He writes me a note saying that Don is wrapping up with a key coach.
U.S. national team coach Jurgen Klinsmann. He's chatting with him right now. He should be finishing up momentarily.
All right.
So Rick, probably about another minute, and we'll have you in there talking with the commission.
Not a problem. The good thing is that Germans are usually short and to the point. So this conversation, even if the commissioner's not, should be a quick conversation. Just one quick thing from you. You've been, and this is really important, you've been with the league for how many years?
Since the inception. 2 different stints, though.
Yeah, and you're one of those people who, we know your job is always, not necessarily put a positive spin on it, to be factual. You believed in the league since day one. And what has been, in your mind, the biggest change from 10 years ago to today?
How long do we have?
Until he's ready, basically.
Biggest changes are the culture of the soccer fans in the United States and Canada, stadiums, the corporate partners, and the decision makers. And people forget about this. The decision makers in corporate America, in the broadcast community, and a wide variety of constituencies. Now they've all grown up with the game. When I started back in November of 1995, we had to teach everybody about the sport of soccer and educate them about Major League Soccer. And now, it's not the case.
What's your take about Premier League, Europa Cup, soccer all over the world, the Olympics? It's not competitive at all. It's compatible with what you're trying to sell.
Yeah, look, it's a compliment. Part of that is due to the time that the matches are played.
Yeah.
So you talk about the Premier League being played in the morning. Fans can watch that on television. Then we encourage them to come out to Avaya Stadium or Red Bull Arena and watch the local team. So they really do complement each other. Even the Mexican League, the Liga MX, most of those games are in the afternoon. Watch that on Unimas and then come on out and watch the LA Galaxy.
What would you say to people that say that you can really tell the difference when you watch a Premier League game versus here? Is that something that people care about, concerned about it?
What I would say there is in every league around the world, in every sport, there are games that are dynamic, exciting, and overall fun to watch. And then some days there are games that just for whatever reason are not as exciting.
Right.
You could say the same thing about MLS. We have some incredible games, and the Premier League has some incredible games. And then on some days the games might not be as interesting. So it really all depends, and it depends on what your personal tastes are. The key thing is we have a lot of difference makers in Major League Soccer now. Players like Sebastian Giovinco or Clint Dempsey or Giovanni Dos Santos, or a lot of players that you'll see out in the field today in the All-Star game. They're guys that keep fans on the edge of their seat thinking, what are they going to do next? And you need to have those exciting players in the league.
We're gonna go get Don Garber. We're gonna walk in and we'll get going.
Hang on 1 second. We'll be right back.
Okay. That's live television / internet, ladies and gentlemen. And you know when Don Garber does a lot of different things here, this is really an industry trade week for the MLS. They had a Board of Governors meeting yesterday. They ratified the idea of 4 more teams to be added to the league a lot earlier than Don would have ever thought, and he'll tell you that. And he also tests the temperature of what the process is and where things are going as far as soccer is concerned. Jurgen Klinsmann, as you know, is the coach of the U.S. national team. They are not going to the Olympics, but Don clearly wanted to spend some time talking with him about process, about expectations, about where the team fits, about his own goals, and that's part of the conversation. And so, fresh off the conversation, we're going to go into this building into this suite right here and test it. Where do you think we're going to be light-wise? Do you think we're okay here? Should we sit in the corner here? Are we light? Are we okay? Are we able to tell? How's that? Is that a little better? You know, in the commissioner knows, in my history of doing this for television otherwise, I've never actually, I wouldn't say spending time with Dan Court-Lamanche actually kills time, but it's not exactly the best way in your life to spend it. But since the commissioner really didn't know that this was live, we spent 7 minutes of my life that I'll never get back because we've been waiting for the commissioner. Is that okay? Does that work?
Sure.
Put that on, please. Put that on.
You're sitting here?
Yeah, let's sit down here. Dan, all I want you to do me a favor. Those two pieces of paper right there, those are my Don Garber questions. Thank you. Commissioner of Major League Soccer. How are you? Ready? Good. You ready to have an amazing event that rivals other big Bay Area events as well this year?
Sure.
It's been a heck of a year for the Bay Area.
Sure, it's been a good year for soccer here as well.
Yeah.
Copa America games, our All-Star game, a bunch of great San Jose Earthquake games, so it's been all good.
How do you feel about where the MLS is today compared to 20 years ago? It was easy. But
Well, that's an
easy one.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Just dramatically different, almost indescribably different. Double the size, way more activity, more stadiums, more owners, more fans, better media coverage, better media contracts. Dramatic change.
The original conversations a few years ago, 24 teams by 2020. Now we're talking about 4 more. We have anywhere from 15 to 20 cities that want in at varying degrees of intensity. Got to feel good about it, and also from a practical perspective, got to raise the value of the expansion price ultimately, right?
It does, though. Honestly, I think there's no real focus on price for us, and I don't think it is even for other leagues. It's really the right owners, the right cities, the right stadiums, the right fan dynamic. You have to have proper pricing and costing in any business, and the costs are what the value should be and expected to be. So ultimately, that's a smart way to go about it. But the real priority for us is to ensure that we have good owners in beautiful places like Avaya Stadium.
And the other piece of this is you effectively are a seller's market, and you come into a perspective of a lot more cities and communities wanting your brand of soccer than 5-10 years ago.
Well, then a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, true.
So, every year it gets more and more important, more valuable, and, with the growth of the sport in our country and the growth of our league, really, I think as a driver of the sport, expansion is an opportunity for sure.
You see Forbes talking about a 52% increase in franchise value over a 2-year period, and now the average franchise nearly $150 to $200 million. What does that tell you? Is that accurate? Is that, regardless of the number, tells you that the asset you're cultivating is more valuable than it was before?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it speaks to all the metrics that drive value. Revenues from tickets, revenues from television contracts, merchandising, sponsorship, and all the things and ancillary events that go in and around the league. Value in almost any dynamic, unless it's an internet stock, is basically driven by business dynamics.
Unless it's internet stock. Now, Facebook Live, I know you guys have a relationship with Facebook as well. And I usually rebel against any media that my 22-year-old daughter knows more about than I do. But in this case, we're doing pretty well as far as Facebook and globally, et cetera. It makes us feel somehow inadequate to deal with the whole world of social media.
Yeah. We were out here for a couple of days. We met with Facebook, Google, and Apple, and did what you would expect league guys to do, which is to go out and be sure that we're connected in Silicon Valley. And you'd be surprised, Rick, there's just enormous interest in our league within the digital community. We are a league that indexes higher as a percentage of our fan base with digital mobile usage than any other league. We have been embedded in the digital community since the league started. So it's good to be here out in the Bay Area where that's so important.
World Cup 2 years ago, Women's World Cup, and tremendous numbers for the final against Japan. This year's Olympics, though no American team. Copa America.
No American men's team. Women.
No American men's team. Very sorry. Very important. Copa America, Premier League, all of those are building blocks. Any one more important than any other? How do you capitalize on all of them?
Well, it's a good question. I think, what our product is, it starts with MLS, our players, our fans, our stadiums, our media partners, but we're trying to build a soccer nation and a soccer continent in North America. And in order to do that, you have to have things like Copa America, and you have to have great World Cup clubs and nations competing, all the things that go into growing the sport, raising the water level. We got the most boats on that rising tide, so we're very focused on getting more people to just love the game.
Does the commissioner look better than I do? Because I just want to make sure that we're okay. We're good. FIFA issues, transparency, things seem to be changing. We don't have to get into the legal issues. Are you more comfortable with where that is than you were a year ago?
Very much so. For sure. They went through some real trauma, and there's been internal change. There's been external pressure to force that internal change, and we got a new president. FIFA, we have a new president. CONCACAF here in this region. Ultimately, I think it's going to be very, very positive in the future.
52% of the MLS fans are between 18 and 34. Your average age is 35. Young and a good base to build on. How do you continue that?
You continue to engage with the community that's coming into the game. That's very young. That's very millennial. But underneath them is a whole new generation of people who are growing up with the game even more so than their older brothers or their young parents have. So, there's a lot of wind in our sails demographically, and there's a lot of wind in our sails in terms of all the great things that are going on socially in our country that are going to empower us, I think, to be even bigger and better in the years to come.
If you were commissioner for a day and could wave you are. What's the one thing globally, not with your league, but what's the one thing in global soccer you would like to most change or affect?
Well, I don't even, honestly, Rick, there is no one thing. I think that if I had to sit back and say, if I were king, what would I like to see differently? I'd like to see the game modernized, the way decisions are made. We are part of a global enterprise, FIFA, and rules-wise, there's a group in Scotland that determines the rules of the game for the world. And I think many people think that because it is such a global game, everything needs to be the same. And I just don't believe that to be true. In America, we're a very tech-oriented society. I want to have microphones in the field. I want to have GoPro cameras on the referees. I want to show replay and have video review. I want to have all sorts of technology that the North American consumer is living with every day. And I don't really care whether or not that's what they're doing.
And your television partners want that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So to do everything as if there's one universal format, the world doesn't operate that way. It's going to change. Either somebody will force the change and break it apart, or if I'm them, I'll say, let's at least adapt to a changing global environment.
A couple more. George Mitchell had a statement and an announcement of his involvement in a new super mega event Premier League model here. What's the nature of that kind of process? Is that going to work?
It won't work.
Yeah.
I told that to the founders of the tournament. I have not met George, but it won't work. There's not enough room in the schedule. We have commitments to CONCACAF for their Champions League. We're trying to get closer to Mexico and play meaningful events and meaningful interleague play. We have no interest in participating in something that an organization puts together that's done upside down. So I don't believe it'll work, and I don't believe it'll happen.
Appreciate your candor. Where is the league in 10 years?
It's bigger, it's more popular, it's got a higher quality of play, it's got many, many more stadiums that are probably larger, many, many more teams and cities that are looking for their share, if you will, of the Major League Soccer experience. I hope I'm here to see it. Who knows? But we'll see.
Well, I hope you're here to see it. You and Gary Bettman, are you going to outlast Gary Bettman as the longest tenured commissioner in world
I think
history?
you would know more than I do, Rick. I'm second.
You're second.
Gary's, 23 years or 25
Yeah, but you'll
years?
all be moving in the same. There's no way to close the gap, right? That's part of the problem. So, thank you, man.
Okay.
I really appreciate that.
Don Garber doesn't get any better than that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this edition of Facebook Live. And not only is soccer growing here, but it's growing internationally as well. And even more important than that, as we head into the Olympics, on the women's side, and then the next World Cup and beyond, we'll be talking more about soccer in the coming months and coming years. I'm Rick Horrow, Facebook Live. See you next time.